Okay, let's jump right in. For so many small businesses, growth feels like this constant, expensive, uphill battle, right? But what if I told you that the single most powerful and honestly the most cost-effective growth strategy isn't about finding new customers? It's about truly knowing the ones you already have. In this explainer, we're going to break down the playbook for turning your customer list into your single greatest business asset. Does this sound familiar? You're spending money on ads, you're boosting posts on social media, you're trying to get your name out there. But at the end of the month, you're looking at your bank account and it's almost impossible to tell if any of it actually worked. You are not alone. This is one of the biggest frustrations for business owners, and thankfully, it's a problem we can absolutely solve. So, let's start by digging into why so much traditional marketing just feels like you're throwing money into a giant pit. The old idea of spray and pray, just get your name out there and hope for the best, is a really, really expensive way to get very little in return. And so many businesses fall into these exact traps. You know that little boost button on Facebook? It's designed to be super easy, but if you don't have a clear goal to capture information, you're just paying to inform people, not to build anything. The same goes for those print ads or branding gimmicks you can't measure. You're spending money without creating a single lasting asset. Now, this is a fantastic example from the direct response legend Rory Fatt. He tells this story about a restaurant owner who is buying branded antenna balls for cars. Think about that journey for a second. Someone has to see it, they have to remember it, and then someday decide to go to that restaurant. The chain of events is so long and so weak, it almost never ever leads to a sale. It's the perfect picture of wasteful, untrackable marketing. So this brings us to a really fundamental shift in your thinking. It's all about moving away from constantly renting temporary attention and moving toward building a permanent, valuable asset that you actually own and control. And this chart illustrates that shift perfectly. When you pay to boost a post on Facebook, you are renting their audience. The platform controls who sees it, and you've got to pay them every single time. But when you build your own database, you own that audience. It's a huge psychological shift. You go from being a hunter, always paying to find your next customer, to being a farmer, nurturing an asset you own to create predictable results. You get a direct line of communication that's incredibly cheap to use. And let's be super clear about what we mean by a database. This isn't just an email list. As Rory Fatt really emphasizes, a true database is a collection of valuable information. You want their name, yeah, but also their birthday, their anniversary, maybe even their physical address for direct mail. Each little piece of data helps you understand your customers and market to them in a way that feels personal and really, really relevant. The scale of this missed opportunity is, it's just staggering. According to marketing expert Matt Platt, in a typical restaurant, 85% of the people who walk in and walk out are complete strangers to the business. They pay their bill, they leave, and the restaurant has no way to ever contact them again. That is a massive leak in the bucket. All right, so we've established the why. You get it. Now let's get into the how. This next section is a practical playbook for building your database, even if you're starting with a teeny tiny budget. Here is the absolute core principle. People are protective of their information. You can't just ask for it. You have to offer a fair trade, a value exchange. You need to give them a compelling reason to hand over their email or fill out that form. You have to bribe them. In a good way, of course. And the good news is, this isn't complicated. It's not rocket science. You can break the entire process down into 3 really simple steps. First, create an offer that provides real, tangible value. Second, pick a simple, low-cost way to present that offer. And third, have a system ready to actually collect that information. The best part? You can start with the people who are already walking through your doors. These are tactics that cost next to nothing. A simple fishbowl for business cards with a monthly prize draw. A sign-up for a free dessert on your birthday. A little QR code on the receipt that leads to a contest entry form. It's all about turning that 85% of anonymous visitors into known customers. So, you're starting to collect names and emails. Awesome! This is where the magic really happens. Let's look at why this is probably the single highest return activity you can possibly focus on in your business. This number, it says it all. Rory Fatt's company, which puts these systems into businesses, sees an average return of $30 in sales for every $1 invested. Let me say that again, a 30-to-1 ROI. Just think about what that really means. It's not just a number, it's predictability. It's the power to push a button and generate sales whenever you need them, because you're talking to warm, interested customers who already know you and like you. But to get that kind of payoff, your offers can't be weak or boring. This metaphor from Rory Fatt is just brilliant. He says to picture your ideal customer on their couch, eating Doritos, watching TV during a snowstorm. Your marketing has to be powerful enough to overcome that massive inertia, to get them to put down the remote, get dressed, and actually drive to your business.
And just look at the difference here. Come try our new pizza. That's a week offer. It informs, but it doesn't compel anyone to do anything. But best pizza within 50 miles or it's free, now that is a strong direct response offer. It grabs your attention, it makes a bold promise, and it completely removes the risk for the customer. Same thing with free dinner on your birthday versus a boring old 10% off. One feels like a real gift, the other feels like a tiny, forgettable discount.
Owning the database lets you build a real relationship over time. So a person might first give you their info just to enter a contest. Okay, great. Then a week later, they get a little welcome offer. A few months after that, they see your newsletter. Then bam, on their birthday, a personalized, high-value offer shows up in their inbox. This is exactly how you turn a one-time visitor into a loyal fan who comes back again and again and again.
We have covered the why and the how, but honestly, none of it matters without this final and most crucial principle of all.
And this right here brings us to what might be the biggest hurdle for everyone: analysis paralysis. So many people wait for the perfect website, the perfect offer, the perfect plan. But the key isn't perfection, it's progress. You just have to start. Rory Fatt has this amazing story about this exact thing. He recorded his very first product, a series of audio tapes that went on to generate millions of dollars, using a borrowed microphone that was propped up on a bent coat hanger, which was resting on a pillow to dampen the noise. It was scrappy, it was totally imperfect, but it worked. Why? Because he took action. This chart really just puts it all in perspective. Waiting for that perfect moment guarantees you one result: zero, nothing. But taking imperfect action, just getting started, it gets you most of the way there. You can always test and learn and improve as you go along. So, let's bring it all home with this one question. What is one small thing you can do this week to get started? It could be as simple as putting a fishbowl on your counter or printing a little sign-up sheet for a birthday club. Don't overthink it. Just pick one thing and take that first, imperfect step.